All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for making you wait so long. Rehearsal took a minute. Everything else took a minute. And I was eating. So that way you guys don't need to worry about, like, oh, did he eat yet? Don't worry. I did. Time to move on to the next chapter of Sakamoto Days, shall we? Yo, peoples! Qushu 92 here. Welcome back to more Sakamoto Days. And I forgot to turn this all the way down. There we go. Just to make sure that the audio is good on this end. But welcome back to more Sakamoto Days. Last we left out on, and this looks suspiciously darker than it needs to. Yeah, let's bring the brightness up, shall we? It always seems to want to change a little bit. Hold on. There we go. Much better. Okay. Halster, it's good to see you as always. Last we left out on, we had Osaragi fighting Gozu, and then Gozu thinking he has the upper hand on Osaragi, Shishiba coming in and just dismissing Gozu and knocking him down, while the lady with the baby finally shows up in all of her craziness, and now it is going to be Osaragi versus this insane woman. So let's see what happens in chapter 251, or days 251. Oh, and it starts with a color page. I'm reading from Viz, if you guys want to know. And this woman is going,
"Time to go night-night, you naughty little thing."
And Osaragi's just looking at her. And we get like a full color spread of Shishiba and Osaragi. Ooh, this is very well done. Like, with Osaragi's blue eyes, like she looks like she has, what is that? What is that? Turquoise? Turquoise colored eyes? And Shishiba with his beady eyes and his hair long. Days 251, freedom. And we're just looking at the outside view of an apartment complex, the stairs leading into it, and then Osaragi and the lady with the knife, crashing through an entire concrete wall. And Osaragi's using her circular saw, and the lady's using her knife. And Osaragi brings her circular saw down to the ground while she's grabbing the lady by her shirt and proceeds to use the momentum of her circular saw, like the driving force of her circular saw, to literally force this woman through two whole concrete walls of the entire building. And she looks at a gap in Osaragi's holding of her circular saw, like she sees the space, and she aims at Osaragi's arm to try and cut it off, and Osaragi lets go of her circular saw. Reminder, Shishiba just told her to never let go of her weapon. And she's looking at her circular saw falling away from her, and she's going,
"Oh,
never let go of your weapon again." And the lady with the knife, she cuts apart a faucet, and it sprays water directly in Osaragi's face. It sprays it right in her face, and the lady's all like, because she has an issue with Osaragi's appearance. Like, oh, you think you look so hot with your pale white skin and your perfect features. Mind you, we still don't know what this lady looks like underneath all that getup, because she's wearing shades, she's wearing a full-on facial mask, and she's wearing a full-on big hat as well, so we don't know what she looks like under there. But she's kind of clowning on Osaragi for getting splashed in her face. And Osaragi's only thinking,
uh-oh, if I don't have my weapon, Mr. Shishiba's gonna get mad at me again.
And Osaragi's just standing there. And she drops to her knees. And then the lady starts, there's like after images of this lady that starts appearing all around Osaragi, and Osaragi starts stumbling all over.
I feel weird.
And she puts her hand on a window, and hands appear on the window all of a sudden.
Ghosts.
And the lady with the knife, she comes through the window while Osaragi is hallucinating. She comes through the window, and we get her bringing her knife down and apparently slashing Osaragi straight down the chest.
Ah, it hurts, doesn't it? You feel sick, don't you? Before you got here, I mixed poison into this building's water tank.
I'm sorry, you poison an entire building complex's water supply? So it's not just gonna be Osaragi who's going through this, it's literally gonna be every single resident who's in here.
Before you got here, I mixed poison into this building's water tank. The water in these pipes is extremely toxic now.
And mind you, Osaragi is twitching because, yeah, she has indeed been poisoned.
Just being splashed by a cup's worth will cause full body numbness, vomiting, loss of consciousness, seizures, hallucinations. And I gave you quite the soaking just now.
And to Osaragi, there's just a whole bunch of hallucinations of this lady walking towards her, just laughing at her. Imagine Magellan poisoning Luffy with his venom fruit, and Luffy can't see straight and he's hallucinating. Osaragi picks up some rubble and then just throws it at her, and the lady basically blocks them both.
You poor thing. You're shaking like a leaf. You must be cold. Let me warm you up.
As she basically sets her knife over an open flame, like a flame stove. Like a flame stove, and just heats up her knife.
Come here now.
And she starts walking towards Osaragi with her knife. With her knife sizzling, burning hot, that smoke is coming off of it. And Osaragi struggles to get up. And all of a sudden, the lady is behind Osaragi, and she essentially just cuts into Osaragi's back. She essentially just slices Osaragi's back, and there's smoke coming off of Osaragi's back as she's being cut.
Oh my, was that too hot? Oh dear, let me cool you off.
And then she just takes Osaragi to a tub that's apparently already full of water and starts trying to drown her head in it.
This is all your fault. How dare you call my child creepy?
And then it shows the baby, and Osaragi just bubbles coming out of her mouth as this lady is literally trying to drown her. And then we have a memory of Osaragi speaking to Shishiba. Hey, Osaragi, if you want an assassin, what would you do?
Huh?
I mean, you have a knack for killing, but it's not your passion or anything, right? Wasn't there anything else you wanted to do with your life?
I don't know.
Sometimes when I look at Saka and those guys, I wonder, maybe there's some other life out there for you.
Am I bad at killing?
It's not what I'm saying. And because both Shishiba and Osaragi are in a diner just casually eating. It's just, I was the one who dragged you into this world. Anyway, forget I said anything. Dumb time to bring it up.
If I weren't around, what would you do, Mr. Shishiba? Mr. Shishiba will be all alone.
And then it cuts back to Osaragi, who's no longer breathing out bubbles, and her hand looks like it just falls to the bathroom floor.
That toxic bath drained all your energy, didn't it? Go ahead now, drown to death.
And then the baby starts crying.
Ugh, what's the matter, little man?
And then we're getting glug glug sounds. And then while Osaragi's head is in the water level is going down.
Huh? The water level's going down.
Then we get Osaragi's thoughts.
I know the truth.
And Osaragi forcibly raises her head out because all this water inside this entire building is poison. So she literally was swallowing the water just to make the water levels go down.
Mr. Shishiba.
And she gasps as the water level is down enough where she can actually, breathe.
Mr. Shishiba is lonely.
And then the crazy lady,
She drank the toxic bathwater until her face was exposed? Impossible! This girl is insane!
And then while she tries to bring her knife down on Osaragi, Osaragi grabs it. Mind you, remember, this thing was scalding hot. Osaragi grabs it, and mind you, it cuts into her hand a little bit, but she still grabs it. And we just get Osaragi's eye.
Her body must be numb from the poison.
And then it shows Shishiba. Then it shows Shishiba walking away.
Wait, don't go off alone.
And then Osaragi, in an instant, before this woman can even react, Osaragi grabs this woman's throat and crushes her. Literally grabs her throat and then just, and we get blood shooting straight out of her mouth. See, this is the reason why I told you I was scared of Osaragi. This woman was slashed by Uzuki, fell down pretty much almost unconscious, down for the count. Then she got electrocuted, and then she got back up as if nothing just happened to her, as if she didn't have a gaping wound going across her body. Then we have her literally not only getting slashed multiple times in her back, but also getting poisoned with a whole bunch of status effects. A whole bunch of, I'm speaking like this is a video game, a whole bunch of side effects that goes with it. And she, in her insanity, drinks the bath water. And then, not only blocks this lady's knife, but also grabs her by the throat and crushes her throat. This woman's dead. And we end the chapter with Osaragi saying,
"Don't worry, I won't let you go."
That's the end. That's the end. I told you this woman scared me. Osaragi's eyes are so dull, even more than usual. Yeah, they're grayed over. They're grayed over as if she can't actually see right now. And given the fact that she willingly drank toxic water with, as this lady put it, cause full body numbness, vomiting, loss of consciousness, seizures, and hallucinations. Osaragi just chugged who knows how much in order to make the bath levels go low enough for her to be able to, to breathe again. And then she catches the knife and then grabs the lady by the throat. And mind you, here's the thing. Osaragi, remember the part about hallucinations. In Osaragi's mind, she sees Mr. Shishiba moving away from her. So while she's in the middle of this hallucination, that's what's happening here. Her eyes are hazed over because she's hallucinating. She's grabbing at Mr. Shishiba so that he doesn't get away from her, because she doesn't know what she'll do without Mr. Shishiba. In this hallucination, she sees Shishiba, but in real life, she grabbed this woman by the throat and then proceeded to hold tight, unknowingly basically killing this woman and crushing her entire throat. Because Osaragi is not fully conscious right now. She is literally hallucinating that Mr. Shishiba is about to leave her, and she doesn't want to let go of him yet. But in real life, she is moving in a way where this woman can't respond, and just without a single moment of hesitation, in her delirium, crushes this woman's throat. This woman's down for the count, which means that the only person we have left to worry about is the Saionji twins and Tanabata. That's it. Those are the only people that are left. This woman's down. Because the thing is, Osaragi's grip strength is crazy. If she's hallucinating and she's not even limiting how much strength she's putting into this grab, this woman is beyond dead. This is the equivalent of a Mortal Kombat fatality where someone's throat gets completely ripped out by bare hands. It's literally this. Osaragi is hallucinating and she doesn't want to let go, which means that there's only so much pressure the human neck can sustain before it can no longer hold on to that pressure, and either your head explodes or that person dies from that extreme pressure. And seeing as how even in unconsciousness, Osaragi is capable of holding tightly onto her circular saw and no one can take it from her, literally able to wield it in her sleep with an iron vice-like grip, this woman's dead. This woman's dead. This woman's throat is gone. It's crushed. She's dead. Osaragi is definitely way more scary, but props to the woman, she was pretty scary too. Also, is it just me or is she smiling at the end here? Have we seen her smile like that before? I don't know if I can call it a smile due to the way the angle is, because it looks like her face is still kinda normal. She's just open mouth speaking. But I can't say that this is a smile because the corner of the mouth, while it looks like from this angle it's going upwards, it still curls downward. If you look at that little darker section of her mouth right there, it still looks like she's, you know, still has like a sort of stoic face on. But that's just how it views to me. I will say I'm curious what's next because the baby is still there. I'm still wary of that child. A child that can wield a gun is one to be wary of. But still, this is the reason. This is yet another reason why Osaragi scares me. While she's hallucinating, she sees Shishiba and wants to hold on to him as tightly as possible. In her own words, I won't let you go. So this woman, if she is somehow still alive after basically having her entire throat basically crushed, Osaragi ain't letting go. It's like Yujiro Hanma wanting to give Baki a hug. And then when that happened, Yujiro held so tight to Baki that Baki couldn't even get out of the grip. That's like that levels of strength. So this fight is pretty much over. Because it's one thing because mind you, Osaragi has suffered many injuries. She's been poisoned, and she's, oh no, that's my mistake. I think her mouth is the same. I just mistook some of the blood around it as her smiling. Oh, no, you're fine, Because I see the blood as well, but it's going down like middle way towards the mouth line right here, while there's still the corner, just like a couple of steps away. So there's still room, but she's not smiling. But yeah, this woman is definitely dead, and I think this blood that's running down the drain is this woman's. I don't think it's Osaragi's, despite the fact that she's been cut into her back. Mind you, here's the reason why I don't think that the blood is Osaragi's, because when this woman slashed Osaragi in her back, she also slashed Osaragi basically with a knife that was scalding hot. So in any case, it would seem that, Osaragi's wounds were also cauterized in this instance. Mind you, in this same panel, and it is pages 14 and 15, it looks like blood flies all around Osaragi. However, you don't really see the blood anymore because her back is basically singed. So that makes me think that her cuts have been cauterized from this. Sure, blood flew out the first time, but it was also cauterized. Not instantly cauterized, but hot enough for it to cauterize afterwards. So this is not Osaragi's blood running down the drain. It is this lady's. She's dead. She's gone. And that is one less loose end to tie up. Just two more individuals. Well, technically three. But two more groups to worry about. And then all that's left is Uzuki. Because pretty much every other major oh, actually, no. Sorry, I forgot. Gozu. I completely forgot that Gozu's still out there fighting Mr. Shishiba. I forgot that. Why do I keep calling him Shishiba? I keep calling him Mr. Shishiba, even though I can just call him Shishiba. But that's where we're at right now. Osaragi, and I say again, this woman was poisoned. And in her delirium, still managed to defeat the person that she's fighting. Do you realize how strong and how capable you have to be to literally have an entire hallucination and you still wind up beating the person that poisoned you and you can't even tell where they are? Mentally, you're not even in the same space as this person because you're just daydreaming and hallucinating that someone close to you is proceeding to move away from you, and that's all you see. But in real life, you literally just insta-killed this one person with just one move, and she grabbed this woman so quick that she couldn't even react at all. I also was curious about this woman. I mean, it doesn't matter now, but last week after the chapter, a thought came to me. By all means, let your presence and let your statement be known, Holster. I really do like talking about Sakamoto days with you guys. Reminds me when I had to when I used to have long discussions about My Hero Academia after every chapter. I remember those. Man, I can't believe My Hero Academia is over. But yeah, by all means, I still got a lot of stuff to do today, but I'm gonna pace myself. But I'm also looking forward to tomorrow because we get to find out Cash's skills for Borderlands. Let's see. I had a theory that she might have been one of the assassins that worked at Alcamar, given the fact that she's acting so motherly. Now, you say one of the assassins that worked at Alcamar. You don't. Okay, so you obviously don't mean like the orphans from Alcamar, but actually one of the orderlies, like actually one of the employees that worked at Alcamar, the same place as Shin's dad was overseeing. That would be interesting if that was the case, because we don't even know where this lady came from. Let me see. Sakamoto days. Hopefully they updated the wiki. I really hope they did, because they really don't be updating that. There's that, but it was also an orphanage, so they were training orphans. So maybe she was one of the trainers at Alcamar. That's an idea. So let me see. Go from Nagumo to the order. And it doesn't. See, here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. They don't update. We don't have an update as to. Let me see. Kamiate and Osaragi versus Gozu. That's a last fight. So we don't even know what this lady's name is. That's the thing. We don't even know. Let me see if they updated anything. Nope. They got synopses. They don't even have anything about history. This wiki doesn't appear to have been really worked on a whole lot. It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't look like it's really been worked on at all. How do we not? Here's my thing. How do we not have the names of these people? That's what I'm saying. How do we not have their names? Let me see if I can find something from Oki's page. Nope. They really didn't do anything other than that. No, they really haven't been updating this page at all. So much for that. I was kind of hoping that we could get just a little bit extra, but no. I was really hoping that we could get, let's see, the order, slurs group. According to the wiki, it has been said that there were over 20 veteran assassins at one point working at Alcamar. Thank you, thank you. So my thing is, if that's the case, then it would not surprise me if this lady was a part of that group. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she was a part of that group. Nope, and it doesn't even show any other characters other than the ones that have been named. Nope, none of them. None of them. None of them. Not even the Saionji twins. Where is they? I'm trying to look. I don't even see the Saionji twins included in any of these groups. Yeah, none of them. That is crazy. That is actually crazy that there's wow. They really have not been updating this wiki like they should have. My bad. Sorry to defer to that so quickly. My apologies, everybody, but odd. So here we are with Osoragi fighting this lady, and her winding up crushing this lady's throat. And mind you, this lady was very preemptive because she intended to fight them. She intended to fight Osaragi inside this apartment building to the point where she literally had the water supply poisoned in this entire building so that every drop of water was toxic to whoever consumed it or even used it. Even getting splashed in the face leads to status effects. I still try to put game terminology in there, my bad. And Osaragi, yep, this wiki really doesn't get updated. It's disappointing. It really is, because there's been a lot going on in Sakamoto Days that needs to be documented, and they have not been doing right by keeping the information current. So that is really disappointing. But at least we know. At least we know what's going on, so we can just, remember what we know and everything, but yada yada. So my thing is, Osaragi is also crazy. She's equally insane, due to the fact that in order for her to be able to get more air, she drinks, and then she drinks bath water in order to make a space where she can breathe again. And then in her massive delirium, because she's very delirious right now, in her delirium, she winds up killing the lady anyway before she can do anything, choking the life out of her to the point where blood shoots out, basically all out through her mouth. Yeah, just because not only, and another thing to take into account here is that this is bona fide a death, because blood is not only coming out of her mouth, but also straight out of her neck as well. Straight out of her neck. Osaragi just said, can you imagine? Your throat is in the grip of someone, and then they do this, and they do that to your throat? Pieces of your throat, if not your whole throat, is going with you in a space that looks like this. So, blood coming out of her mouth, through her like face mask and everything, and blood coming out, shooting out straight out of Osaragi's hand. This woman's dead. This is dead. And we get this final death cry as we see blood just pour onto the ground and down the drain. And Osaragi having to deal with the hallucinations right now. I wonder how good her toxin tolerance is. But yeah, this lady's dead. That's the end. So, now, since we're probably more than likely going to move away from Osaragi over to Shishiba dealing with Gozu. And Osaragi is probably going to need a moment to recover, simply because, she drank willingly. Drank some bath water, and who knows how many gallons, in order to make the water go down low enough so that she can breathe again. So I'm pretty sure that the effects of drinking that willingly in that large quantities, just to get the water levels to go down by this much, that's a lot of water. When you think about the size of a bathtub, that is a lot of liquid. So Osaragi's probably going to be resting. Maybe she'll be knocked out after all that's said and done, but the lady's dead. Who knows what's going to happen to the baby, because the baby is unattended for. And then we're going to cut over to Shishiba and figure out, Osaragi's going to be down for a while. Yeah, exactly. You see, you and I are both thinking the same thing. The baby still unaccounted for. Who knows if it's capable of fighting like his mom, but I doubt it. Being able to wield a gun, that's one thing, but I'm pretty sure he's not skilled enough to have a gun hidden inside of his clothes. So that's one thing. But now we're going to cut back. I know for a fact we're going to cut back to Shishiba versus Gozu. And I feel like this is the fight where Gozu is either going to get grievously injured or die. Because Shishiba is done with games. Because he's a no-nonsense assassin. He's all like, you don't need to say that you're dead meat. That's only going to make you look worse when you fail. He's all like, you don't need to say, I almost killed you. That just makes you look bad as an assassin because you didn't actually finish the job. Shishiba ain't here for no nonsense. He's here to throw hands and just bring this dude down so that Osaragi and him can just get on with their lives and just continue on. And who knows where they're going to go after this. So that's where we're heading next. And I honestly feel that, like I said, this fight between Shishiba and Gozu is either going to end with Gozu grievously injured to where he can no longer be a threat, or he dies. Either one of those two things. But given how Shishiba says, like, no, we're here to kill you, yeah, the Gozu is probably going to end up, pushing up daisies. especially considering that Shishiba still owes him for basically electrocuting both himself and Osaragi way back when. So there's a debt to be owed, and Gozu's gonna be the one that pays it. But we'll have to see. We are not going on break from this chapter, even though One Piece is currently on break right now. We're not going on break from this chapter, and that means we're getting another one next week. Shishiba versus Gozu is going to be fun. Can't wait for Gozu's downfall, though. While I do think there's a decent chance Shishiba gets taken out of commission temporarily, where he needs a rest. Here's my thing, though. I feel like Shishiba's rested after being electrocuted and carried away to safety by Osaragi and Kamihate. That's what I feel. I feel like that was his rest period, and now this is his second wind, and he's not stopping until all of his opponents are dead. That's just the whole vibe I had this whole time, ever since he came back. This dude is here to drive a hammer through every nail that's in his way. I don't feel like he's going to need a moment to really rest and calm down. He'll probably tend to Osaragi to make sure she's alright, but as far as him, no, this man has not lost a single stride ever since he came back, and he's been on a 10 for Gozu ever since they started clashing with each other, right when they were about to catch up to Sakamoto. I don't think Shishiba is going to rest quite yet. So the chances of Shishiba getting put out of commission by Gozu, because the last time Gozu fought Shishiba, that's how he got put out of commission then. I don't think it's going to happen again. I do also think that there's an even more likely chance he is healthy enough after that battle that he'll go and look for Osaragi. That's what I feel. He's going to bring down Gozu, and then he's going to take care of Osaragi, see the good work that she's done, and then probably say, like, okay, now it's time for us to go. We're done here. And then they just go off. They just go off on their own, and we probably won't see them for a while. As we cut to the Saionji twins, Kippei and Shina fighting against Mafuyu and his brother, because that's still a fight that we just cut completely from, and we have not gone back to the JCC in a minute. Remember, Kippei was fighting those brothers. Kippei was fighting them, and then we cut away from them. I am worried about Shin. I can't lie. Here's the thing. Like I said, the fact that we haven't gone back to the JCC in a minute is concerning, given the fact that Kippei says, like, well, we're both brothers, so we're just gonna have to fight in order to protect protect our siblings. This is a fight of brothers who want to protect their siblings. A man who literally said, well, if your thing is based on how strong a person is, I just gotta go beyond strength, and literally put a hole in a wall that was meant to absorb the strength of so many overpowered people in this series. And this man said, I'll go beyond strength, and then broke that wall just nonchalantly. That's a person to be concerned about. So that's a fight that we've cut away from, that we have not been to in over 2 months. I want to say we haven't been there in 2 months. It's been a while. But also, Shin versus Tanabata, we still need to catch up with that as well. Because Shin says, nah, I'm going to deal with Tanabata myself, and we have yet to see that continuation at all. So that's a concern. So we're definitely going to have to see how things go with the Saionji twins and Tanabata, because those are the only, and Gozu, but Gozu's being handled by Shishiba. So we truly only have like 3 more loose ends to tie up. The Saionji twins, Tanabata, and Gozu. And I feel like Gozu's going to be the next one to go. That's how I feel. So it'll be interesting if that chapter, the next chapter we get, goes in that direction. You do raise a good point. By all means. What point? Everyone, make sure y'all take a moment to stretch for yourselves. It'll do your body a whole lot of good, trust me. Do we have Gozu's defeat before we finish off the defeat of all the new recruits? I want to say yes, because I feel like this fight with Gozu and his deprecating attitude towards basically all Order members and especially assassins that stand in his way, I feel like all of that bravado, all of that provocation, all of that cockiness needs to be met with a swift end so that everyone else can be dealt with. But Gozu, he's a thorn in the side of not just the people he's fighting, but us, the readers, because we see him and he's just all smiles like, oh, I got this in the bag. Oh, you guys are going to die. And saying all of this stuff. And it's like, he's not an annoying character, but he is the type of character that he is the type of character where you are really looking for his demise. He is a character that we cannot wait to see defeated so we can shut him up. He's got that mentality of I'm gonna keep saying whatever I want to, and we're all on the sidelines just waiting for someone to come in and just clock him in the mouth and just lay him out on the floor. That is what we're waiting on. So to answer your question, do we have Gozu's defeat before we finish off the defeat of all the new recruits? Yes. I feel like we'll get Gozu's defeat. I don't know why I was putting my fingers behind my head like I got hair that can do that. I don't. But out of everyone, Gozu's defeat will be the most meaningful because cockiness in the world of Sakamoto days will get you cut or it'll get you killed. There hasn't been a single super cocky person that says like, oh, nothing bad's gonna happen to me. Plenty of people have said that, and many of them have wound up dead or dismembered. From Gaku to Haruma to literally anyone that faced off against Old Man Takamura. Cockiness gets you killed in this story. Prolonged cockiness will make your death worse. That's the thing. You can be cocky in Sakamoto days, but your death is going to be painful. And if you're cocky for an extended period of time, your death will be even worse because of how long you dragged it out. So, yes, Gozu's defeat has to come before everyone else. Simply because we've seen so much of Gozu that if we cut away from Gozu and Shishiba and we don't finish this fight, it'll be akin to seeing Raizo versus Fukuro Kuju in the Wano arc, and it'll just get dragged out while we're cutting into different fights, and then we just cut back to Raizo, and they're just standing there holding each other, and then we cut to Satsuki and Frankie, and we cut back to Raizo, and then we cut to Black Maria and Robin, and we cut back to Raizo, and then we cut to Zoro versus King, and we cut back to Raizo. We cut to Jinbei and Who's Who, and we cut back to Raizo. No, Gozu's defeat has to happen now so that we don't drag this conflict out any longer than it already has. So he's gotta go first before we cut to the last two. That's my opinion. Oh, I don't want that at all. That's the reason why I'm saying, because ever since that moment in Wano for One Piece, I'm like, I really hope these fights don't get dragged out like that did, because that was a pet peeve of mine in Wano. Y'all heard me complain about it when I went through that entire arc. Y'all heard me complain about it, saying like, how are we still here with Raizo? And they're just standing here and they're not doing anything. And it was dragged out for so long. And it was dragged out in the anime too. So ever since then, I really look forward to chapters resolving these fights and not dragging them out an absurdly long number of chapters, or even having chapters that cut away from the fight and it's a whole bunch going on for more chapters, and then we have one chapter where it cuts back to the previous fight and then we do the same thing again. I don't want that. I don't like that. I love One Piece, but I didn't love that about One Piece, that one moment, because it just dragged out the pacing for far too long. So that's the reason why I said Gozu's defeat has to happen before everyone else's, so we can stop focusing on him. Even though it hasn't been too long, I don't want it to be dragged. After seeing him fighting Shishiba, I don't want their fight to be dragged out by having different chapters happen in between them. I want it to get resolved. That's the reason why I was happy when we got the last chapter with Nagumo. It resolved the fight with Oki directly after the chapter that brought us into that previous chapter with Nagumo and Oki going into the casino. I'm glad it didn't cut away and it finished the fight in the very next chapter after that point. Glad for that. I like that kind of pacing. That needs to happen for Gozu. That needs to happen for Gozu for his defeat as well. But that's me. That's just me. But I don't like for fight scenes to be dragged out for so long that we start wondering, why is it taking so long for this fight to end? And mind you, I don't feel that way, but I don't want to get to that point. So the sooner we see Gozu defeated and not cut away from it, and then we can go to someone else, the better. That's me. So hopefully that starts with the next chapter and we bring it on home with Gozu, either with the next chapter or the chapter after that brings the end to Gozu, but it goes directly into it. And not cutting away from to someone else and paying attention to that. But we'll have to see. We gotta wait until next week, and after Sunday of next week, it will be my birthday. So a good birthday present would be a chapter where we see Gozu defeated. That would be my little personal birthday gift from Viz. But we'll see. But Holster and everybody else, thank you for tuning in to today's reaction of Sakamoto Days. I can't wait to see you guys in the next thing that I do, because tomorrow we will be having a breakdown of Cash, the newest character for Borderlands 4, which will show all of his capabilities, all of his skills, and just what kind of character he's going to be when he drops on the 26th with the Mad Ellie DLC. So I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow during that time. But for now, I'm done. I still got some other things to do, but I'm going to take my time to do it because a brother is tired, been up since like 6 o'clock, and I want to rest. So to Holster and everybody else, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Suzuki-sensei, you know what you must do for Q's birthday. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even consider checking out my membership and Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples!